So again, for those of you just joining, welcome. Good afternoon. My name is Diana Olivar, and I'm the Chief Revenue Officer. I work in a little fun software development company called Boost Human, and we are dedicated to smarter workforce development and accelerated knowledge transfer. So what this means is we're getting information where it needs to get to your workforce so that they can do their job effectively. So we are harnessing things like artificial intelligence and mixed reality solutions, like you see on the screen, to target and solve problems and inefficiencies in the workplace, disrupting really the status quo. So people ask me, who are your closest competitors? And, I say it's the status quo, right? I'm competing with getting the message out that there's another way of doing things. So it's not doing things the way we've always done them, right? And expecting different results, right? I'm here to tell you there is a better way of training your employees so they learn by doing. So with that, let me introduce our team to you and where we're located. Excuse me. We are headquartered in El Paso, Texas, and I work with a talented group who have chosen to forego their, other careers at NASA, Lockheed Martin, for instance, Google, Facebook, you name it, et cetera, to be equity owners in this little startup. So they are from this region, they're binational, they're bilingual, and that really helps since we're so close to the border, and we're focusing on the manufacturing industry in our sister city, Juarez. So let me just really quickly, since I mentioned it, and I'm gonna get out of the way here, so you can see how close we are to the border. For those of you who are not familiar with El Paso, that's Juarez, so that's Old Mexico, and we're on the border of Old Mexico and New Mexico, which is just west of us. So it really does help to speak Spanish around here. So Dr. Ivan Gris, he is our CEO and co-founder who leads the development team. And he is also a professor at UTEP. So I kind of joke with him, he says he likes to code on his spare time, but he has no spare time. All right, so let's continue on here. And I am gonna go ahead and take myself off the video so I'm not distracting you. And we'll kick this off. So our mission really is in alignment with every company's most important resource, and that's their people. So how do we boost human capabilities? Well, learn, troubleshoot, connect. This is a typical natural workflow for most of us. So before we join the workforce, we learn something. Then when we're out in the field, we face problems, we troubleshoot, and we fix. And then when we become the experts, we connect, we transfer our knowledge, and we teach others. So our solutions boost human capabilities through technology, hence our name, Boost Human. We're promoting a smarter workforce by providing the tools they need to do their job effectively. So what do? We consult and develop custom software solutions for our clients. And this is our suite of solutions, which include, just to give you a little flavor of what we do, the bottom right-hand corner, virtual humans. These are interactive holograms, which utilize natural language process to have lifelike dialogue. And I'll discuss this later in detail. And currently it's being utilized by RDNs. These are registered dietitian nutritionists at New Mexico State University. And then up at the top, you see with the steering wheel, this is virtual training. So these are virtual simulations, which are safe and cost-effective ways to train. And then our telepresence solution, this is an augmented reality communication tool that connects the workforce. So imagine a souped up FaceTime or Zoom like this, but has geospatial AR for line of sight fixes when you need to be hands-free. And then smart guides with step-by-step processes delivered in real time in the field of view. So why do we do what we do? Immersive learning is the next evolution in training. It combines the sense of presence of virtual reality with advanced learning theory, data science, and 3D design. So as you interact with the virtual world, you make decisions just as you would in the physical world. And it's activating the same neural pathways in the brain. Why is this key? Because what you're practicing in virtual reality translates to real world performance. So the results can be measured through specific data points with insights that can be analyzed to improve outcomes. So have you ever played laser tag and you get that rush, right? Like you just experience something. So imagine that feeling if you're practicing for a job interview, for instance, your soft skills, and you go through it and you do it over and over, but you feel you're practicing with an interactive hologram, and you feel like, you know, every time you ask something different, you're getting a different response. Well, that feeling that you're getting, almost that pressure, that's the same kind of feeling. So after you've practiced that, you know, a few times over and over, and you feel like, I got this. That's what these interactive holograms in this play actually makes you develop and learn and feel. So immersive learning is really proving to be more effective for training, and we're seeing this more in the corporate world. And the most impactful programs have this in common. So their content grabs learners' attention, they enable experimentation and learning by doing, and they exploit the most natural way of learning for many living species, and that's playing. They remain easily available to learners when they need to be repeated. So simulations offer greater immersion by providing experiences that closely emulate a real-world situation and enable practice physically within it in real time. And evidence suggests that experiences gained during a simulation can be committed to memory as if they were real. So the possibilities are endless. I can think of so many examples just in soft skills where you can get in the shoes of a client to better live the customer experience. So think of all of the customer service opportunities you can practice or you can train your team to do to better serve your clients. Another example is taking thousands of employees at the same time to visit a new warehouse or a building or a school without the time or travel expense, or even training your teams to react to a crisis situation without ever putting them in harm's way. So there is a huge impact in learning by doing. And I'm sure most of you have seen this pyramid, right? You can have different ways, and people learn in different responses, right? And we all know that the best way to learn really is by doing. Once you're doing and you can teach someone, you've really mastered that information. You know, but due to limitations in teaching, each of these modalities traditionally have been done separately. And research from Stanford University found learners recall more when using virtual teaching methods than with traditional methods, resulting in about a 75% increase in learning effectiveness. And according to ABI research, the enterprise virtual reality training market generated $216 million in 2019, and will continue to grow to 6.3 billion in 2022. So this is validating that this is where the future of learning is going. There is a familiar quote that says, I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, but I do and I understand. So I'm not going to bore you with the topic of cognitive load. That's a whole other webinar. But all we're doing here is compressing these modalities, which normally require extra brain power to translate into a holistic, immersive experience. And the outcome is people are learning faster, deeper, and retaining longer. So our value proposition, with our software solutions, people can learn on demand at their own pace in safe, immersive environments, gain experience faster, and of course, boost their productivity. There's reduced operation costs. There's learning through mistakes, right? Because the more you make mistakes, the better you learn. Here are some industry use cases, some examples that more and more companies are adopting these technologies. A medical university uses VR for training surgeons, and the benefits for them were 40% fewer mistakes than surgeons who were trained the conventional way. A large retailer in the US uses virtual reality to prepare store managers for Black Friday. They've since deployed this now to over 200 training centers, and the benefits they've measured are 80% savings in training time alone. This is a use case that we did at New Mexico State University. So we developed virtual patients, AR training software, which provides a speech-enabled, photorealistic, holographic representation of a patient with whom the users can converse. So the users are able to freely talk to the holographic patient within the context of the consult, and the same interaction can be played multiple times to a different outcome. So now, more than ever, due to social distancing guidelines, internships will become more difficult to complete, but with immersive holographic technology, more students could be able to train and complete their certifications. So we were able to take a quarter of their clinical training hours, implement immersive learning to increase their throughput. Okay, now I'm going to share a video. This is an example of a virtual reality training for an automotive company in Chihuahua that we did for their quality assurance of their steering wheels.
In this case, we can observe a virtual reality training tool. Training tools is something that Boost Human offers. These are highly customized projects, and they can be a virtual or augmented reality. In this case, we're observing a virtual reality training tool. The person on the smaller screen is representing a test administrator. This is an application that is actually in use by a steering wheels manufacturer. And what the test administrator is doing right now is configuring the test to tell their employees what types of steering wheels they're going to find and what defects they have. This is a tool for quality assurance. Now, the employee, now also represented by the person in the smaller screen, goes in virtual reality and can manipulate things in a completely virtual environment. In this case, the application is for quality assurance, but other common use cases include dangerous situations, hazardous conditions, or expensive situations to simulate, like fail conditions on expensive machinery. And you can easily visualize this by pilot training, for example, where you really don't want to train in a simulated hazardous condition. What the employee is doing in this screens is analyzing the steering wheels. They can ask for a hint, and they can decide if it's defective or if it's passing. They can interact with the environment using their hands, in this case through a controller, through virtual reality. And after the test is done, they get a summary of the results. Now, depending on the company, different analytics can be presented, and this can be inputted in Minitab, Tabula, or other analytics software, either internal or customized through a dashboard. And in this case, they let them know where the employees are better fit to perform, if they're better at detecting some types of defects. And basically, they just help them train with about 2,600 steering wheels rather than the 50 that they used before.
This next example is a sampling of some of the applications that we've built and are currently available on the App and Google Store. So I'll play that for you. Okay, this first one is called Anatomy AR. This can help students learn the skeletal and muscle groups. You can do this from your desktop or mobile. And this is you'll see soft skills training. This is our immersive hologram. It's an interaction with a patient with diabetes. This is our smart guides. This is a step-by-step process. And here, Alex is assembling a robot arm. Okay, and that was the virtual training wheels. So I like this slide just to help make sense of the terms. So when you think of VR, think of putting on a headset and it blocks your entire field of view. You become immersed in a virtual world, as opposed to augmented reality, where you see the physical world and you overlay information on top of your field of view. So examples would include like our telepresence solution, which help your experts remotely connect, share, and teach their less experienced colleagues. Google Maps is another common use of a step-by-step instruction, right? That helps us get from point A to point B. And in this case, you're seeing a heads-up display where you're putting the augmented reality, the overlay into the physical world. And then mixed reality, that's a little bit more complex. So to break it down in the simplest way I can, think of AR, where you're holding a ball in front of you and it's floating in the air. So in mixed reality, you can actually grab the ball and you can throw it and you can blend in holographic information with the real objects. So our smart guide solutions is a good example, which provides real-time step-by-step instructions to people that are new at a particular task, for instance, or in industry in general. This realizes on average about 30% increase in productivity. And these are some of our partners and clients that we've engaged with. We looked at the virtual training wheel example. This was TRW in Chihuahua. It is one of our first success stories, so we're very proud of this. We provided VR training for quality assurance by providing a VR software solution for training, evaluation, and something called R&R, repeatability and reproducibility. So the tool is for quality control operators, specifically those focused on the manual and visual part of the inspection procedure. We were able to reduce their training time by roughly 32%, and we positively impacted their turnover cost. At NMSU, as I mentioned, we were able to take a quarter of their clinical training hours by implementing immersive learning, and we increased their throughput so more students could graduate and enter the workforce quicker. And we developed Laura, an interactive hologram, which the City of El Paso Procurement Department utilized for marketing at the Cooperative Expo last year. The hologram provided an interactive experience for anyone walking up to her to ask questions about the event via microphone. So if anyone that's on this call remembers, we created a full-length mixed reality Laura hologram to provide high-tech, cutting-edge, intelligent marketing for the city. And the goal really of the hologram was to promote the benefits of working with the procurement department and their support team to attract outside vendors, sponsorships, which will have a lasting impact on economic development and investment for the city of El Paso. Our mixed reality lab is a collaboration between Boost Human, Microsoft's TechSpark program, and P21 here in El Paso, where we seek to disseminate knowledge about virtual and augmented reality and how to use it or how to apply it to your own needs. So this program provides the community access to high-end augmented reality and virtual reality devices for you to learn and experiment with. And we also have a series of free online courses that assist new developers or potential ones to adopt the technology. And you can find more about this on our website at boost-human.com in mixed reality for everyone. I'm going to play a quick 2-minute video just to introduce you to Dr. Ivan Gris and also the collaboration between the Hub of Human Innovation, which is now P21, Beacon Hill VR, which is now Boost Human, and TechSpark.
Hello, my name is Ivan Gris, and I'll be your guide throughout this series. Got my PhD in computer science in 2015 at the University of Texas El Paso, and for the past 10 years I've been doing consulting, development, and basically using the technologies that we will be covering throughout this series. This is a collaboration between Microsoft and the Hub of Human Innovation here in El Paso, and we seek to disseminate knowledge about augmented reality, also known as AR, and how to apply it in the El Paso border region. You can also find great events at the Hub and connect with the entrepreneurial and startup community here in the city. Check them out at www.hubep.org. AR technology availability outside of the realm of mobile devices is sparse, and most AR applications are associated with digital marketing or video games. This program will provide the community access to high-end augmented reality and mixed reality devices for you to learn and experiment with. We also have a series of free online courses that assist new developers or potential users to adopt the technology. Here at the Hub, there is a brand new space for developers where you can learn, test, and deploy your holographic applications. If you're more interested in adopting the technology rather than developing for it, there's a series of use cases for small businesses to show potential benefits, such as training, simulation, collaboration, product design, or maybe you just want to be informed about the latest technological developments. We got that too. This is also a friendly environment for students to familiarize, play, and learn with the technology, or for creative artists to try a new medium. If you have never heard of these concepts before, don't worry. The courses assume you are a newcomer and are carefully designed to bring you up to speed. If you know how to use a computer or smartphone, you will have no trouble following along. If you feel like we're going a bit too slow, feel free to skip ahead and jump right into the challenge of your choice. With that said, let's dive right in.
Cool. So to recap the benefits, we're getting close to the end of the webinar. Virtual reality takes people to the most realistic learning situations without the constraints of reality, logistics, risks, real time, and little right to fail. So with the Industry 4.0 revolution and increased digitization, there's a shift in skill requirement for the future workforce. We have to adapt. Research from the World Economic Forum estimates that by 2021, nearly 35% of the top skills needed across all job families will change. Therefore, there's an increasing need to focus on corporate training, upskilling, and reskilling our workforce. Augmented reality. At its core, the power of AR grows out of the way humans process information. We access information through each of our 5 senses, but at different rates. And vision provides us with the most information by far, an estimated 80 to 90%. This is why, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, a virtual experience can be worth 1,000,000. So now I'm going to go to the Q&A section. And just to mention, these 2 holograms you see are actual people from the P21. This is our executive director, Carlos Martinez Vela and Nicole. They both work at the, previously it was the Hub. So we developed this for them so you could actually go up. You can see there's a list of questions there, kind of frequently asked questions, and then they would interact and respond. So I'm going to take a couple of questions. I think we have a few more minutes. The first one is, how do you analyze the data to improve outcomes? So for example, in Smart Guides, we are able to measure if there's a 10-step process, we can measure the time it takes to accomplish each step to determine if a student or an employee is having a difficulty time at a particular spot or point in time, meaning they're proficient in step 1 through 5, but step 6 is getting them stuck. So when we remediate the student or the employee, we know specifically where to focus and possibly retrain. Another question came from Antonio, and that's how do you use NLP, natural language process, in your interactive holograms? So we create a decision tree response to recreate life like a typical conversation dialogue for that specific context. So if you're asking if the interaction was AI driven or scripted, the answer is hybrid. We try to do scripted if the context is well defined, since it's a lot easier, but we could do AI or true NLP. And if that's the case, we would use a third-party service bundled in with the application or the solution. Okay, I can answer one more question. So how do you consult companies who want to get started but don't know where to start? We have a 4-step process, and it starts with discovery. So we would have a call with a customer to understand their current situation and their desired state, and that may be a few calls to determine that. And then we would do a workshop with the key departments and stakeholders that would be affected by the technology. And then third, we would create a mutually agreed upon success plan, and then we kick off the project to make it fully operational. So fourth, we measure, we monitor, and we adjust, and we try to achieve our targets and develop continuous improvement. So, and I like that question. That's what we do, and that's what we'd like to do. If any of this resonated with you, please reach out to me, and I will be happy to schedule a call or meeting with you to discuss further. And with that, I just want to say thank you. That's all the time we have. I hope this was informative, that you enjoyed it. I tried to channel my inner Mrs. Maisel to make this a little more fun for you. You all were a great audience, so tip your server, and I'll see you on the next set. We are going to be having on June 9th another webinar, and that'll be a deeper dive into immersive learning in the education and government space. So please visit us at www.boost-human.com. Have a great rest of your afternoon, and thank you so much for your time.